Every time we start something new, you're going to suck at it. You keep doing it, you keep sucking at it, but you get to the point where you suck less, and then you get to the point where you suck less, all right? Or you don't suck at all and you become good. That's the idea of it, but you don't get to that point until the repetition's there. Hey everyone, it's Opi here for another video where I talk about health, wealth and happiness. So today I wanted to talk about massive imperfect action and releasing an MVP. MVP stands for minimum viable product. So one thing will lead to another. So if you worked in the corporate world, I'm sure you've been in projects or other stuff where you are analyzing, and it goes to a point where it becomes an analysis paralysis, right? And no, it might not be you. It might be a colleague or a co-worker or a project itself where it's just not moving because they are too embedded with the analysis and not enough work in the delivery phase. This is a common thing. This has become a blocker for individuals as well, whether it's a pet project at home where you're trying to put up a garden shed or a garden bed, paint a nursery, whatever your project is, you feel like you don't know enough to get going. So what's the solution? You know, some of us are perfectionists, and I am certainly one of them, and I've been one of them. And now I feel like I've gotten to the point where it's all about action. If I get stuff wrong, I'll correct it along the way and I'll make tweaks and adjustments. So there was an author by the name of Tim Ferriss who says, if you can get to about the 80% mark, if you feel like you know 80% of what you need to do, get going. You'll work out all the stuff that you don't know along the way and make the tweaks and adjustments and get it done. So if I can give you an example of this podcast as well as the Victory Line podcast where I interview people, if I take the 5, 6, 7 episodes that I've recorded, they have not been perfect. There's been stuff that I have learned and I've corrected along the way. Even today, I feel like I don't know 100%. My editors are constantly giving me feedback going, hey, Opie, maybe the framing should be done this way, maybe the lighting should be done that way, and so forth. And I appreciate that, and I try and incorporate that to newer episodes. So, as I said, just to give you an example, on the first episode that I recorded on the Victory Line podcast, there was an AC at the back, and the air conditioner was blowing into the portable recorder. So the noise, the wind noise was there. Not ideal. Second episode, my guest and I were facing the opposite directions. I didn't realize at the time. And we were talking to each other like this. It's really awkward, but when you're in the moment, you just don't see it. So lesson there. Third episode, the middle camera that I had was way too high. It just looked awkward in the after, when you review it afterwards. Fourth one, I felt like there was no structure there, and maybe I should have sort of spoken to the guest a bit more. It's not his fault. It was my fault for sort of not guiding him through it, but we'll learn and move on. Fifth one, I didn't speak to the guest about sort of no-go zones. So there were bits that we discussed, such as previous workplaces and so forth, which we might need to edit out. That's still a work in progress. The next episode, the lighting was completely off. But what do? You just keep moving on. Actually, the most recent one, which is the 7th episode, which I recorded a couple of days ago, the angle was too narrow for the thing. So I'm sort of getting a side shot of the guest and me. But at the time, because I'm not a professional video guy or I don't have a production crew. It's just me setting up the tripod, pressing record and get going. But I'm okay with that. This is the year for me with massive imperfect action. It's long hours, but it is what it is, and I'm happy to learn from it. So the idea behind this is me doing a lot of perfect action, and I recommend that you do as well. I'll along the way make tweaks, make adjustments to the point that you get better and better and better. So I can't remember who said this. They said, this particular author or motivational speaker said, every time we start something new, you're going to suck at it. You keep doing it, you keep sucking at it, but you get to the point where you suck less, and then you get to the point where you suck less, all right? Or you don't suck at all and you become good. That's the idea of it. But you don't get to that point until the repetition's there, And think I used this analogy before. There was a class, a university class, where the professor, it was a photography class, the university professor had given an assignment, end of year assignment, and the idea was for all the students to go out there and take some photos. But this is the assignment. He ended up breaking the class up into two groups. Group A was told to take as many photos as they can and submit, those photos. Group B was told to take only one photo, one perfect photo, and submit that. Guess where the best photos came out? The Group A, where they took as many photos as they could, just one after the other, because they were, experimenting, checking the angles, the lighting, the framing, the f-stops, the lenses, and all of that stuff, because they just basically got the reps in. Whereas the Group A was trying to get the perfect, the one shot that would be ideal. So with repetition, you do end up getting perfection. But there is a caveat to this, right? The caveat is, imagine you go to the gym, you start doing some sort of weights in the wrong way, using the wrong technique. You end up getting hurt. So there are sort of disadvantages. So I always trying to look at things from the both sides. There are disadvantages in going too quickly, or there's massive repercussions. For example, if you're going into a real estate deal and you don't know 100% about this particular thing, and you go into it, there might be repercussions that it's going to take you years, decades, or it'll completely bankrupt you. So at that point, you need to either rely on a mentor or get to, closer to that 100% mark before you get started. So it is all relative, right? If you're cooking a cake or whatever, just look up the recipe and bake the cake. Worst case, you'll burn the cake and you'll make a new one. The risk in that experiment is very low, as opposed to, say, getting married, doing a real estate deal, maybe moving countries. I guess moving countries, you can always move back, right? So there are varying degrees. So that's the whole massive action, massive imperfect action initially, okay, is what I like to call it. Delivering an MVP. MVP stands for minimum viable product that you can sort of go out there and test and then get feedback on. I'm sure you all remember, if you're old enough, the iPhone 1. iPhone 1 wasn't the best product in the market, but Steve Jobs had the courage to put something out there and reiterate on that. Year after year, we get a new iPhone, and you think, oh, it's the same as the last one. No, it's not. It has been incrementally adjusted, improved, tweaked, and designed to the point that it's just gotten better and better. But the very first one wasn't all that crash hot, if you can remember that. But that was his mentality. He was actually quite comfortable with just launching that and getting the user feedback and improving upon it. There was the LinkedIn founder, I can't remember his name now, but the LinkedIn founder said, if you don't regret the product you've launched first, you waited too long to launch. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But basically, if you wait for the perfect product, then you launch it and you don't regret it, you're not ashamed of the product that you've launched, you waited too long. So it's basically another way of saying massive imperfect action. Launch something that you can sort of develop. It's not going to be something that you can't that'll completely burn the market, and your customers will be like, oh my God, this is so bad, I'm never going to come here again. But it should be good enough that you can sort of reiterate, get some user feedback, and move forward. This MVP approach is so important. It has been in history, and it should be moving forward as well, that we learn and adapt and iterate on what we've already got as a base. Thank you very much. I hope you got something out of it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.